All right, 5.5, function word problem. Objective, students will be able to identify different parts of a function and its meaning. So what we have here is basically a table that you might want to keep handy as you're going through these problems, because these are the type of words or language that you're going to see in a word problem. And this is what it means in the equation, or what we're looking for math-wise. So you're looking for certain keywords here. And you know what? As you're doing a problem, if you find out like, hey, you know what? There's another keyword that really meant slope or is really the M, you could write that keyword here to kind of help you, expand on this. So it might be useful to go through this. And so basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a couple of these word problems with you and then let you do the last one on your own. So let's take a look at this. Average rate of change word problems. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in and not even look at the answers for now. We're just going to look at the problem. It says T of little t, T of t, models the temperature in degrees Celsius in Windhoek, Namibia. Okay, when it's T hours after midnight on a given day. Okay, so this is T hours. Might be worth noting that this is your hours and this is your temp. All right, and what does it want? It says, when did the temperature increase faster? So, and then now we want to look at these intervals. So they're saying, did it increase the fastest from 6 to 9 or from 9 to 13? Or it says the temperature increased the same rate over both intervals. Now, at first glance, this might be a little confusing because it says 6 to 9, which is easy because there's 6 a.m., there's 9 a.m. But then it says from 9 to 1 p.m. Well, if you think about it, these numbers they said after midnight. Well, 13 hours after midnight is the same thing as 1 p.m. So we just want to find the rate of change from 6 to 9 and 9 to 13 and figure out what's best. Rate of change is simple. Remember, it's just slope. That's all rate of change is. So we can use this equation where these are like my x's and these are like my y's. So let's do the first interval. Let's say 25 minus 19 over 9 minus 6. And this will give me the interval here, right? Because this is like my y2, y1, x2, x1. So 25 minus 9 is 6, 9 minus 6 is 3, 6 divided by 3 is 2. So the interval here is 2. So between 6 a.m. and 9 p.m., that equaled 2. And we could even give that units, right? We could say it went up by 2 degrees an hour. Okay. Now let's do it from 9 to 1. Okay, so now I'm going to do these ones. Same idea, though. I'm just going to do 31 minus 25. Over 13 minus 9. And I'm going to use the 13 as opposed to the 1 because it's much easier to figure out the difference, because otherwise I'd have to convert this back to 13 anyway. So 31 minus 25 is 6. 13 minus 9 is 4. 6 divided by 4 is, well, you could reduce it to 3 halves, or you could say 1.5. So this would be 1.5 degrees an hour. So which one is more? This one is more. There's your answer. So let's just back up. How do I know what to do? Well, when did the temperature increase faster? Whenever they're talking about an increase, they're probably talking about a rate of change, and rate of change is really just slope, right? So that goes back to up here. So we could also say maybe a keyword here is like increasing or decreasing. That's probably going to be talking about slope. So if we see those words, we can know, hey, that's really asking about slope. All right, so on to this next one. It says P of N models the price in dollars of a pack of N bulbs. Okay, so N meaning the number of bulbs. So this is our bulbs, and then this is price. So I'm just going to do a little dollar sign. When does the price of a pack increase faster? Okay, once again, we're talking about the increase, so we want the rate of change between 4 and 10 light bulbs, between 10 and 12, or is it the same? Let's try both. So I'll do these two first, this rate of change first. So I'm going to say 25 minus 12 over 10 minus 4. 25 minus 12 is 13, 10 minus 4 is 6. Okay, that doesn't reduce to a nice neat number, but we could say that it's about 2, a little bit more than 2, because 12 divided by 6 is 2, so 13 divided by 6 must be a little bit more than that. All right, then the next interval is from 10 to 12, right? So let's do that one. So I'm going to do 28 minus 25 over 12 minus 10. So 28 minus 25 is 3, and 12 minus 10 is 2. 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. Remember, we said this was, I mean, you could write it as 2 and 1/6, or a little bit more than 2. So we know which one is, let's read the question again. When does the price of a pack increase faster? Well, it's increasing a lot more here, because it's increasing by 2 and 1/6. Over on this interval, it's only increasing by 1.5. So once again, the answer is A. All right, so we've done 2 examples. I want you to try this last one on your own, and then just unpause the video when you're ready to check your work. All right, so hopefully you went through this and you had 2 options. You could either do this interval or this interval and see which one's the most. So if you do the first one, you'll get 67 minus 28 over 10 minus 9, and you should end up with 39. Do the next one, you're going to get 212 minus 67 over 15 minus 10. And 212 minus 67 is 145. 15 minus 10 is 5. And 145 divided by 5 is 29. So the interval that's going faster is the one that's 39. And that's the one that's between 9 and 10. So there you go. Hopefully that's what you got. Let's move on to the next question. Now this says function notation word problem. So let's take a look at this. Let's look at this first one here. Again, I'm not going to look at the answers. I'm just going to first look at the problem. It says Copacabana Beach in Rio de Janeiro is one of the most popular beaches in the world. P of T models the number of people at the beach. T hours past midnight on a specific day. So what does the statement P of 10 equal N mean? Well, let's think about that first. What is the N? That's what I like to think about. Or not what is the N, sorry. What is the 10? Well, they said that's hours, right? So this means something about at 10 hours after midnight. And then P of that equals N. So P of T models the number of people. So what this means is that at 10 hours after midnight, or 10 in the morning, N should be the number of people at the beach, since P of T, it represents the number of people at the beach, right? That's literally what they're telling us right here. Models the number of people at the beach. So then this must be the number of people at the beach. So let's look for something about that. How at 10 hours after midnight, N is the number of people at the beach. There were N people at the beach at 10 a.m. Yep, that seems to match. There were 10 people at the beach at N hours past midnight. No, that does not work, because we already established this number inside of the parentheses is our hours after midnight. What else does it say? There was an equal number of people at the beach at 10 a.m. and at N hours past midnight. No, N is not hours. N is the number of people on the beach. So that's not right either. So the only one that works is A. Okay. So this little sentence right here is crucial. Very, very important, because they're telling you what all the parts mean. And so that's how you can figure out what goes to what. So let's look at one more example. Tessa's class had a math exam where the grades were between 0 and 10. N of G models the number of students whose grades on the exam was G. Okay, so a couple things I'm going to point out is this is the number of students, and G is the grade. G is the grade, and this is the number of students who had that grade. So for example, if they got a 5, this would kick out, you know, the number of people who got a 5. So like, I don't know, hopefully it's only like 1 or 2. So now we go down to this thing. What does the statement N of 8 is greater than 2 times N of 5 mean? Oh, seems confusing, but it's not that bad. Especially if we change it into this language. We know that N of 8 just means the number of students, I'm just going to write students who got an 8. So that's that. And then what does n of 5 mean? Well, that's just the number of students who got a 5. They literally told us that right here. So if I was to say 2 times that, it would mean something like the number of students who got an 8 is greater than 2 times the number of students who got a 5. So let's look for something along that line. The number of students whose grade was higher than 5 is greater than the number of students whose grade was 5 or lower. No, that doesn't sound like what we got. I don't think that's right. There are 8 students whose grade was higher than twice the grade of another group of 5 students. No, remember that number inside is not the number of students, it's the grade. Remember they told us that right here. That G inside is the grade. So that's not going to work either. The number of students whose grade was 8, ooh, that sounds promising because we knew that was the number of students who got an 8, is more than twice the number of students whose grade was 5. Yes, that seems like it's the magic number. There we go. Okay, so we found the right answer. All right, I want you guys to try this last one on your own. I'll pause the video. You can work it out, and then just check back when you're ready to check your work. Okay, so I want to point out they tell us exactly what these things mean. H of a number is going to be Amelia's height in centimeters, where T is going to be the months old, and T is the number that goes inside the parentheses. So right here, when they say H of 30, what does just that mean? Well, that must be Amelia's height at 30 months. H of 25 must be her height at 25 months. So we know that her height at 30 months is equal to her height at 25 months plus 5. So we're looking for something along those lines. So let's see, it took Amelia 5 months to grow from a height of 25 to a height of 30. No. Remember, these 30 and 25, these are the T, these are the months. So that cannot be it. When Amelia was 30 months old, she was 5 centimeters taller than she was at 25 months old. That sounds exactly right because we said height at 25 plus 5 equals her height at 30 months. So that seems right. The sum of Amelia's height at 5 months and 25 months old is equal to her height at 30 months old. No, because there's nothing about 5 months. There's just plus 5 here. I mean, that's just, we're just adding 5 to whatever this is, and we know this is a height, so this must also be a height. So, no, that can't be it either. All right, that's it for this video. Don't forget to write a question at the end, and I'll see you guys in the next video.